Alright, let us continue our Pillars of Eternity adventures in Deerford Village. I get the feeling we're not too far from the end of Act 2. Just a couple more quests to do. So let's work on clearing up Deerford Village and then go into the next area for the main story quest. Been really enjoying my time with Pillars of Eternity. It's a good old-fashioned BioWare style CRPG like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale type game. Really good. So I'm waiting on the loading now. We'll get cracking. The only thing I have left to do in Deerford Village is go into the inn. A couple quests revolve around people inside said inn. I have replaced the caster with the grieving mother for now, just to check her out. Plus, I've already done Aloth's side quest, whereas I'm still working on the side quests for these other characters. So let's head inside. Table has been scarred and stained from decades of use.
Sure.
I just want to find her. Surely even you can understand that.
We're decent folk, my lord. Perhaps you should leave and check the wilds.
Hail, traveler.
Alright. A redhead stands by the fire, turning her lute and plucking its strings. She hums snatches of a melody as she goes. First time at the Dracogen? Normally I'd have a song ready, but I haven't quite worked out this tune yet. I'm writing some chants about the founding of this inn. Say, you interested in the story? I haven't finished the chants, but I could tell you about it all the same. Sure, let's have it. Oh, excellent. These rustic fables are always great fun. Let me get out something to write with. It was built into the time of Hadrit's rebellion. An Adrian lady, Thanu, once had a keep here. One of the towers still stands, but the rest is said to be buried under the village. Anyway, she stuck to the side of the Empire, and a contingent of Duke Hadrit's Knights of the Crucible helped the farmers and colonists in the area turn her keep to rubble. This inn was the first building that sprang up from the ruin, built with some of the same bricks the colonists had pulled from Lady Thanu's castle, they say. Supposedly, the quarterstaff of her chief wizard even got lost in the construction, mortared into a wall or nailed under a floorboard. Oh, that means I need to kind of stealth around to see if I can find that hidden staff. Anyway, the inn was supposed to be a haven and a meeting place while the locals built their new town. What do you mean, supposed to be? Dear Woodlands are an ornery lot, and the more these new neighbors met, the more they argued. They realized they didn't agree on much besides ousting the old lord. The biggest divide was over the Glanfathans and their nearby ruins. Hadrit's knights and their supporters wanted to keep the peace, but a group of misfits was more anarchic leanings that had formed in town wanted to go after the tribes the same way they'd gone after their lord. Soon the villagers were fighting each other as much as with the Adrians. In the end, memories of the Brokenstone War and the War of the Black Trees were fresh enough that the Duke's soldiers won the day. Most of the other villagers came around eventually, but some of the core troublemakers left to join the front lines of the War of Defiance, and others, I've heard, found their way into the Guided Compass, the most forward-looking of the Glanfathan tribes. I don't know if I believe that part myself, but it makes a good story. She points to the east wall. There's a portrait of one of the chief's rabble-rousers and his rival in the peacekeeping faction. Someone's idea of a joke. I don't think they were particularly amused. Let's hear about the Brokenstone War. That was the first major conflict between the original Adrian settlers and the Glanfathans. Happened 3 years into colonization when some farmers knocked over an Adra manor that was part of Engwithian ruin. The war didn't last long, but it spread quickly and claimed thousands. In the early weeks, most of the colonists didn't even realize there was a war going on until the Glanfathan raiders hit their villages. There had been small spontaneous skirmishes between the colonists and the locals before then, but this was organized, and it was the start of decades of violence between the colonists and the Glanfathans. As you can see, Deerwood's full of history, even in little villages like this. Tell me about the War of the Black Trees. It started back in the colonial days, almost 30 years after the Broken Stone War. Even though isolated conflicts still broke out between the settlers and the Glanfathans, both sides had officially agreed to peace. Endring Hadret, Admeth's father, was Gref at the time. As part of peace negotiations, he'd signed treaties prohibiting Adran colonists from looting Engwithian ruins. However, he'd been unable to outlaw the use of captured Glanfathans as slaves. What's a Gref? A Gref is the governor of a colony and is subservient to the Adran Emperor. The early leaders of the Ader colony in the Deerwood, including Endring and Admeth Hedret, were Grefs. At the start of the War of Defiance, Admeth Hedret declared himself Duke of an independent Deerwood rather than Gref of the Emperor's colony. It was the same term used for leaders of the newly independent Valian republics. Anyways, we haven't had a Gref since. I see. Indeed, the taking of Glanfathan slaves had continued to be a source of conflict. It came to a head when the Imperial agents, aided by certain earls in the Deerwood, began looting the ruins again. See, the Empire had never actually agreed to Hadret's treaties on the matter, and the recent secession of the Valiant Republic likely left them eager to weaken Hadret's position. The looting sparked a brutal slave uprising and a guerrilla campaign among the Glanfathans. Endring Hadret was too old to lead forces into battle, and so he sent his son, Admeth. Admeth made a costly but effective decision that ended the war faster than anyone could have imagined. He burned the forest near the Isk-Ian River to keep the Glanfathan warbands from retreating. Thousands of Glanfathans died, and as Admeth repeated his scorched earth tactics in the following months, he wore down the remainder of their forces. To this day, over 150 years later, there are still sections of the Deerwood where the trees are nothing but bare, charred trunks. Very well.
How do you do?
Okay. There's also a person over here. The portrait depicts a man and a woman dressed in Ader garb that would have been in style a century ago. The heavy frame has been battered, and the plate that once bore the patron's name has been scratched out. They share a passionate embrace, which seems at odds with the disgust on their faces. Soul. You see this woman running through the streets of a small city. She pushes her way through the crowd, glancing over her shoulder as she does. Her clothing is torn and her hair disheveled. Even though she appears to be attempting to escape from someone, her eyes sparkle with joy. Her mouth is pulled back in an enormous grin, and occasionally a small giggle works its way out of her throat. While looking over her shoulder, she runs headlong into a well-dressed man standing at one of the market stalls. The moment she sees the man she's run into, her face changes. Gone is the glee, replaced by fear. Her grin twists into a frown, her bottom lip quivering. The man, seeing her appearance, expresses concern for her well-being, and she leans against him, weaving a tale of a brutish man with wandering hands. As she speaks, her own hands travel over his body, seeking and exploring. There's a shout from across the crowd, and they both look over to see a large, angry man approaching, roughly pushing his way through the crowd that separates them. She stiffens again against him, feigning fear. The man tells her not to be afraid and steps in front of her to block the path of the figure who is coming near. The woman smiles, slowly backing away from them both, then lets out a gleeful cackle. Her protector turns, confused, and sees her departing, laughing and shaking a coin purse. She spins and races off through the crowded marketplace. Confused, the man feels at his belt. His face hardens and he yells, joining the chase after the laughing woman loses herself in the crowd.
Hello!
The innkeeper digs inside a mug with a dirty rag. His eyes under his thick brows are tired but watchful. He gives you a quick nod as you approach the bar. Don't see many travelers these days. Something I could do for you? What was your exchange with that nobleman about? He looks up from polishing his tankard and glowers at the Lord. Folk around here is decent. They mind their own business. You want to stick your nose in it? Go talk to him yourself. I have questions about Deerford. He runs his rag around the rim of the mug. Ask. Have you seen an Orland called Knifery? He jerks his head at the stairs. Twitchy lady, that one. Who lives in Deerford? Not many anymore. Hard to keep people around when everyone here is Birth and Hollowborn. But we got a few who stick around and do business. Tyrgul's the leather courier. Hendia crafts potions, and Wentworth trades in general goods. Rumbold's a pig farmer, or was anyways. Tell me about Tyrgul. He's a courier. Treats leather and makes armor and a few other goods with it. Problem is, the smell of tallow and deer shit tends to put people off their food, and his shop's right next door. What's Hendia's story? Lady's a clever hand with potions and poultices. Got herself into trouble with a nest of worms or so, I hear. Her cart's on the east end of town. And Wentworth? Been around even longer than I have. Nice enough fellow, but never could find his way to the end of a sentence. His shop's across the square. Something happened to Rumbold's pigs, I take it. Damn ogre carried them off. Now he squeals more than his herd ever did. He shrugs. It is rotten luck. Let's go back to previous questions about Deerford. Tell me about the village. Walk from one bridge to the next and you've seen it. We're quiet, hard-working folk. We keep to ourselves and don't take to being pushed around. He glares at the well-dressed man standing off to the side. Used to be a castle here, built by some family of Adrian Thanes back when the Empire first came. Only one tower's still standing, and that's part of Tyrgul's shop now. Sid, that bard by the fire, could spin you the yarn if you're so inclined. You said you don't see many travelers. Of course not. Why would they come here? We got bandits on the road and an ogre in the forest. It's that yapping fool Rumbold to tell you. Worse yet, hasn't been a healthy child born here in over a year. Most kith that come here is just passing through. About that ogre. You don't hardly see him this close to town. Ogres and kith don't mix well. Ugly bastards, but they're smart enough to know that much. You want to know more? Talk to Rumbold. Him's farm's southwest of here. I want to talk about something else. Order food and drinks. Let's just see what you have. Campaign supplies. I'm 304, so I'm good with camping supplies.
Hail and well met.
Let's see what rooms you have. I don't think I need to do that. My guys are topped off.
Welcome.
Let's look at the adventures. Don't need them.
Hail, traveler.
So I'm done talking to him. Let's go back here. Let's talk to Pace. What are you doing in the kitchen? Dangle will get you sorted out with food and drink. Heavy, sweet perfumes emanate from the barrels. The stave joints are stained dark brown and dull purple. House Heron Guard. The guard keeps his eyes on the door. If you have information about Lady Aelis, you should speak with Lord Heron. You see a man open the door of a house, slow with fatigue. He steps inside, unlacing his boots, rubbing his temples. Wrinkle of a smile lighting his face as he moves into a generous kitchen. He calls for someone, slicing himself some bread. The house creaks gently in response. His lips purse and he pads out of the kitchen into a large room with a staircase. Chewing slowly, he takes the stairs one at a time, calling once more. No response. His body freezes for a moment as he walks into the room upstairs. Nothing on the lone bed but an abundance of faded felt toys. Moving faster, he checks each room, his calls growing more and more urgent. No response. Any sign of exhaustion is gone, replaced with limber panic. He checks cupboards, baths, anywhere a child might hide. Nothing. Then, a letter next to the door he came in from, with a queer symbol on its wax seal. One he's seen before. He crumples, shoulders shaking against the hard wall. Nobody sees him weep. Alright, let's talk to Handred. Herond, Lord Herond. The man wears Ader-style robes, simple but elegant. His fine leather shoes look like they are made for padding around indoors, yet they're caked with mud. He yanks at a lock of hair twined around his silk-gloved finger. His fine features are etched with anxiety.
My child is out there. Do they not understand?
My lord, we're doing everything we can. Unfortunately,
These villagers.
Beasts take them all. I don't care how you do it, but find her.
I heard you arguing with the innkeeper.
A petty, small-minded man, just like the rest of them around here. I've been paying him an honest fee for board and bed, and yet he can't be bothered to stir himself to concern for my Alice.
Nah, damn. Your child is missing, I take it?
Yes, Lady Alice, my daughter.
He tugs at the fingertips of his gloves.
I've asked around, but nobody in this mud hole has any concerns beyond their swine. We turn my men away like beggars and seem downright pleased to be of no use. But you're not one of my soldiers. And you look like you're used to getting your hands dirty, if you don't mind my saying so.
His guard leans in. My lord, a mercenary. Heron raises a hand to silence the man. If you find her, he nibbles the thumb of one silk glove, tell her I won't be upset with her. She can come back and all will be well. I just want to make sure my Alice, my child, is safe. Nothing in the world is more important to me. Tell me about yourself.
I'm Lord Nestor Harrond of Defiance Bay. My family has been prominent there since Imperial times. Our primary estate is on the outskirts of Brackenbury, but we have holdings in New Haomar as well. Those went to my sister and her husband.
I'd like to ask a few questions about your daughter.
Alice. Of course.
Describe Lady Alice. She's a striking young woman, bears more resemblance to her mother than to me. She has auburn hair and delicate, well-bred features. She must be, 28 or 29 now. Tell me about her disappearance. We'd stopped in Deerford for a few days. On our fourth evening here, I was making plans to continue our journey. Lady Alice was feeling unwell and went to bed. When I retired a couple of hours later, I found that she had vanished. None of my men had seen her go, and no one at the inn knew where she was. Since then, my people have been combing the village, but we've yet to find a clue, and the locals have been no help. Why did you and Alice come to Deerford? It was merely a stop along the way to Iana's Rest. However, she took ill shortly before our arrival, so it seems prudent to allow her a few days to recover. What's in Iana's Rest? He frowns as if about to protest, but he gives in with a sigh. Lady Alice has reached an age where it is prudent for her to marry. Given this legacy business, I can't let her fertile years slip by, nor do I want her womb to fester in the presence of so many Hollowborn. Let's do the lore for response. It seems there would be more potential suitors in New Haomar or New Yarma. You think I haven't considered that? Arranging a suitable match is difficult. The best prospects for my child lay in Iana's Rest. Where's the rest of your family? Surely they wouldn't want to miss your daughter's betrothal. Lady Heron is ill-suited for travel, I'm afraid, and unfortunately, Alice has few other close relatives. My sister and her husband, Alice's aunt and uncle, of course, have been visiting Ader these past months. He rubs his knuckles. And as for siblings, Alice has none. My wife has only given birth to Hollowborn. Since Alice, that is. I see, but going back to your daughter. Let's go back to my previous questions. Okay, looks like we're done. The painting depicts a forested ravine somewhere in the Living Lands. Nifrit, the Orlin hovers by the window, peering out of it every few seconds. As you enter the room, she watches you carefully, her hand hovering over her stiletto. She cranes her head to peer behind you. Anyone follow you? Who sent you? What are you talking about? The man leaning against the wall glances out the door and nods to the Orlin. The hand over her weapon relaxes, but she's still watching you closely. Some old friends from Defiance Bay are looking for me. We're not exactly friends anymore, if you catch my drift. I'm just trying to lie low and mind my own business. Know what I mean? Put it in a mouth. Boss, and a mouth looks at the Orlin and jerks his head at you. All right, all right. She raised her hand to the Mao before turning back to you. My friend here thinks you can maybe help us out. Now, I'm sure you're a busy man, so I'll make it worth your time. She flips you a few coins. Just go take a look around town. Come back and let me know if the coast is clear, if you see any suspicious figure. Let's do the rational response. She scratches the back of her neck. I may have gotten myself into trouble with some powerful people in Defiance Bay. Powerful criminal people. I suppose it was bound to happen eventually. I'm a thief by trade, and it's hard to do my kind of business in the city without crossing them eventually. Now I'm just trying to put some distance between us. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but you don't seem like the type to run your mouth off. Someone told me you're responsible for heinous killings in Defiance Bay. Let me guess, was that someone named Medrith? She draws her stiletto. You're a big shot with the Crucible Knights. If I'd gone on some kind of rampage, don't you think that you'd have heard about it? She shakes her head. I got him on the wrong side of his employers, and now he's after me. But if you're here to do his dirty work, I won't make it easy on you. Relax. I just wanted to hear your side of the story. What story? The Dominoes came after me. I just happened to rob the wrong place. How was I supposed to know they'd already claimed it? She runs her hand under her hood and through her hair. It was an honest mistake. I'm just trying to survive now. And if you spoke with Medrith, you know where he's waiting. Please help get me out of here. Help me get out of here. Go east. Medrith's waiting for you just west of the river. She nods slowly. All right, I'm trusting you. Don't have much choice. See if you can send him the other way. That should buy me some more time. She follows the hooded figures towards the stairs, giving you a final uncertain glance as she passes through the door.
Let's see what lies this way.
Painting portrays the expansive foothills below the mountains of White March.
I think I see something.
He uses a quarterstaff, doesn't he? Yes, he does. Let's take a look at that then. Let's see. It's about the same, so I'll just keep using what I have. The glass of this window is broken. Warped, knotted planks have been nailed over it. You see a man, eyes tied on a couple down a cobblestone road. He moves a little too obviously, a little too naturally, and his eyes never leave her mussed curls as he shadows them from building to building. The woman laughs drunkenly, hand entwined within another belonging to a sharp-nosed noble, flawless doublet, slightly too small for his generous frame. She brushes against him as they move, clearly far too intimate for her shadow's liking. His eyes narrow to angry slits as the couple slip into an opulent doorway, and the nobleman's hands slip down her dress. Her breath shortens into gasps as she leans into him further, moaning. The spectator pauses, mouth pressed shut, veins bulging. He slides along the wall, dagger in hand. Just as the woman bites into the nobleman's doublet, he steps out. It's over in moments. He closes his eyes, dagger slipping from the blood-slicked hand, and bolts. You see a tall figure pacing the edges of a carpet, corner to corner, fingers twitching in irritation. The sound of battle grows ever closer, snaking its way through caves and corridors, past doors and soldiers, and the mage paces. Throwing his door open, he strides through the refurbished cave, taking scrolls from shelves and demanding potions from terrified grunts. Kicking a fallen chair from his path, he returns to his room, pacing and readying himself. As the enemy grows closer and closer, he begins casting spell after spell, defenses, additional vigor, traps. Just as his skin hardens into metal, they stride in, swords flying and arrows buzzing. Last chance to rethink this, he says. An arrow whistles by his head in answer. He sighs and his lips thin with effort as he begins his onslaught. There are 6 of them, but soon there are 4 and 3 and 1. For the last, he takes a dagger to be sure, throwing it directly into the Orlan's temple. The man topples. None get back up. The mage barks into the hallway, receiving naught but silence in response. Frustrated, he begins to dispose of the bodies, the last person standing.
And what does the flame... I'll give it a try, as requested. I can do that. As requested.
Alright, so it looks like we're done in here, but now we have a quest for this area. Two quests, I think, before we leave Deerford Village. Okay, so search Deerford for information about Lady Elisa's disappearance. Firstly, we gotta lead these people away.
Hey. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
Hi.
Just situation them ahead of time in case I have to attack.
Welcome.
He picks at a long blade of grass. Found Nifri yet? I'm ready to get out of here. Yes, and I let her go. Midrith draws his blade. Don't worry, I'll catch up to her right after I take care of you. House Domino, moderate negative. I'm already on their bad side anyways.
Breathe. Lavaru, beyond. go. Let's go. Right.
Nothing really overly good there. Some decent money though. Okay, so now I have to talk to people to find out about Lady Elise. So let's do that. People in town say that the Hollowborn problem has been especially bad here. It has. Cities and villagers all over the Deerwood have seen Hollowborn, but Deerford hasn't seen the birth of an unaffected child in years. Most of our people have moved on to other villages in search of hope, and those who have stayed behind aren't the same. Children promise a future, you know. People change when you take that away from them. Have you seen Lord Heron's daughter? I'm afraid not. Lord Heron's man already asked me, and that was the first I'd seen of any of his party. He holds a hand to his heart. Wherever she is, in this life or another, I hope he takes comfort that her soul's with Bereth. That's not going to comfort him at all. Oh, I got something with my stronghold. Let's check it out. Something's going on. The road to Redflower Lake turned out to be even more dangerous than the elders of the Kind Wayfarers had expected. They believed that the attacks against Adram Delphar's funeral procession had been carried out by ogres. Instead, Haravis and the Kind Wayfarer initiates discovered Aetons, twisted two-headed ogres of incredible size and ferocity. Recovering the paladins' bodies was costly, with 5 more initiates dying in the process. In the end, Haravis and 7 Kind Wayfarers reached Redflower Lake. There, they held a service for Adram Delphar and the others that died to make their way to the summit. On the way back down, the initiates placed marked cairns along the trail to indicate when it had been cleared by the Kind Wayfarers and at what cost. Okay. See if there's anybody to talk to in here that may know anything about Lady Elise. Just villagers, probably not.
This elder of yours, he may have returned a drunk or an invalid.
Maybe. But the search for Persock is just as important as what I find.
Welcome!
Seen any sign of Aelis Herond? His hands curl into knobby fists. How many times do I have to repeat myself? I already told those snooping guards I haven't seen her. But that hasn't kept them from nosing around my property.
Is that right? And what if you return empty-handed, huh?
I never return it.
She probably didn't want to do the arranged marriage, so she ran off with somebody that she really loves. It's usually how this stuff goes.
Greetings.
I'm looking for a young woman named Aelis. That lord's got you asking around too, eh? He grunts. At least you asked politely enough. Bad enough having a small army move into town, but then they start throwing their weight around and telling you your business. He shakes his head and clucks. That's the problem with these lords. They think their money and their family name entitle them to some kind of special treatment. They expect everyone to fawn over them the way their servants do. No, sir, that's not the kind of people we are, not in the Deerwood. We broke away from Ader to get away from that kind of nonsense. If they think... let's do the stoic. Of course, I was just getting to her. He clears his throat. I haven't seen her. Not since she went missing, anyways. She mostly kept to herself. He shrugs and wipes at the buckler again. But you know how women are, always carrying on, full of palaver once you get any two of them together. Perfectly harmless. Mind you, I'm not criticizing. Just feels like they never run out of things to say. That girl seemed rather quiet, downright shy if I do say so, but even Hindia got her talking. Just goes to show you. Hindia? An alchemist, runs a small stand near the center of town. Talented lady, but she had a run-in with some worms not long ago. She's lucky it wasn't that ogre that's been roaming around. Took all of Rumbold's pigs the other day, did you hear? But don't get him started, he's still sore about that subject. And once you get him wound up about that ogre and his pigs, he just won't stop talking. Farewell. Which is exactly what he does. He just doesn't stop talking. Likes to talk. That's fine, takes all kinds in the world. So, center of town, alchemist stand. I think we actually have a quest from her too.
Good day to you.
She's just one of her bandages. Anything else I could do for you? I've got some handy ointments if you're braving the roads anytime soon. Actually, I'm looking for a missing noblewoman. Oh, that lord's daughter? She was a new shade of green when I seen her the other morning. Chatting with Tyrgul she was, just outside his shop. She points at the crumbling tower. What was wrong with her? She tugs at a bandage. No offense, but I hardly know you. I'm not one for gossip, and I certainly don't want to cause the poor girl any trouble. Lord Heron said she was ill from travel. She laughs. There weren't no road sickness. Trust me, I know it when I see it. Thanks for the information.
Hail and well met.
I wonder if she's pregnant and that's why she was sick. Let's go up here and see what... I bet you he's hiding her behind in the tower. That's exactly what's going on. She doesn't want to do the arranged marriage because she's in love with somebody in Deerford Village. He wipes a splotch of dye from his elbow of his shirt tail. Something else you need? What can you tell me about Aelis Heron? He shrugs. Only that her father's men have been banging down doors and stirring up trouble looking for her. Never met her myself. Hindia said you two had met. Let me ask you something else. He folds his arms, the smell of tallow and animal dung wafting off him. Did she now? And what else did she say? She saw the two of you talking. What was it about? Her father's dragged her out here to get hitched to some backwoods noble. She wanted an escape, alright, and I was happy to give it to her. We snuck across the river a few nights ago for some private time. Come to find out, we weren't exactly alone. An ogre, taller than Winforth's sails, sprung out of the forest, and we were so lost in the heat of the moment, we didn't notice until it was upon us. It grabbed Aelis and disappeared into the night before I could even pull my britches up. I can see why you kept this to yourself, Rational. I'm not proud of it, but that's what's happened. He measures you with his gaze. She could still be alive. I'm in no shape to go after her, but that Heron looks like he'd have coppers to spare for anyone who found her. He scratches his cheek with fingers stained red and yellow. Others around here have seen the ogre east of town. Took most of Rumbold's pigs just the other day. If someone were to find it, there'd be a lot of grateful people in Deerford. So I think that's the last of questing in Deerford. I think I'm free now. Let's take a look. I bet you most Deerford Crossing is where most of this stuff is. Wilderness outside of Deerford Village. Deerford Crossing is one quest. east of Deerford. Alright, so let's head out of here. Let's see. This is the story quest, but I gotta go to Deerford Crossing first, so let's do that. Probably a lot of quests tied into Deerford Crossing. I have like 3 or 4 quests. Wilderness near Deerford. Okay, let's go north and work our way around the perimeter of the Fog of War. Oh, dang, she annihilated him.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's as far as I can go that direction. Let's follow this northern wall then. That unlocks Clea Ben Relag. Keep following the north border. Actually, if they're gonna separate it into islands, let's finish exploring this island then.
Sure. Yeah.
Make sure the Fog of War is truly cleared. So we got 2 islands. One across this way. Let's go here first.
Let's go.
slow and silent.
What's this?
Looks like the two areas merge. Okay, they all kind of meet in this central area, so let's finish off this island. I like guns, they're slow firing, but they hit like an absolute truck.
What's this?
Ring of deflection. Just take a look, not everybody has 2 rings. For instance, he only has 1 useful ring. There we go. Okay, that's probably the ogre cave, but we're gonna wait and finish exploring the area before we go running in there. Well, looks like worms. Let's save our game. It's been a bit. Let's go up here. More worms. Sevis. A man turns to face you, wiping blood from his estoc. His knit brows betray a moment of confusion, but as he watches you, a slow, confident smile creeps over his face. The Iron Brand does not meet many travelers this far from the road. What would they be doing out here? An elven man cocks his head at the other. Probably after that dragon egg. Same as us, boss. A dwarf curses and spits into the grass. It's a rhetorical question, you dimwit. He tightens his grip on his sword. Everyone knows the roads between the villages are crawling with big ants. They're obviously bandits, same as us. Why would you want a dragon egg? He laughs. To sell it, of course. If I wanted to eat it, I would have grabbed some pigs from that farm in Deerford, too. What do you know about dragon eggs? They are round and large, and they come from dragons and drakes. What else is there to know? I've seen all sorts of deadly creatures, few are worse than an angry drake. I'm not taking any chances with Drake. Say what you want, I'm out. She hurries off. Let her go, that just means a bigger cut for us.
Right.
Oh, that might be useful for somebody. See, who has a helmet? Ah. Alright. Alright, we got him a better helmet.
They shall see nothing while I see much.
The cliff face is blackened and melted like candle wax. There's a small outcropping overhead with what appears to be a crude nest. It looks like a challenge to climb. Scale the cliff. You take another look at the cliff. There may only be space for one person at the top. Send Eder. Eder slowly ascends the cliff, taking advantage of crevices and spurs in the rock, and reaches the nest. Athletics 5. The nest is surrounded by glowing embers. Twigs and bones litter the area. An egg the size of a small keg is nestled among the detritus. It looks heavy and awkward to carry. Secure the egg with a rope and lower it. Eder ties a rope around the egg. Eder lowers the egg with slow, steady motions. Once the prize has reached the bottom and settled into the dirt, Eder safely climbs down the cliff.
Yeah. Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves. does the flame reveal?
With me, Ansawu. Let's go.
Dead on!
Sure.
Oh, boots. Let's see who needs boots. He needs boots. There you go, buddy. Okay, so let's head back here. Then we're gonna clear up this area, and then we'll explore this area, and then we'll go into the ogre cave.
With me, Ansawu. Let's go.
Hey.
Yeah.
Look.
Hello? Hello?
See what this broken statue does. You stand within what looks to be a ruined shrine. The moss-covered remnant of an ancient statue lies before you. Examine the statue. Only the broken legs and feet of the sculpture remains. Long grooves alongside it suggest that it could be moved. Near the base of the statue, you discover a skull carved into the stone. Examine the skull. The skull is carved into the stone in intricate relief, its mouth agape. Peering closely, you notice a rusty keyhole between its jaws. Pick the lock. Kana pushes several tumblers into position. With a series of rusty clicks and squeals, suddenly the ruined statue begins to move. The displaced pedestal reveals a dark passage descending into the earth.
Here smells of blood and cowardly loathing. I'll be the effigy if this isn't some nest for the quiet slave's skulking fur.
First, let's go take a look at the Grisly Cave. I'm not sure how big that dungeon is, but the Grisly Cave might just be a room with an ogre inside. So let's check that out first.
If secrets whisper here, I shall listen for them.
Let's go.
Not too alarmed. Not too alarmed. But I'm slowly dying of poison.
Okay, this is getting a little antsy.
Your thoughts must flow deep indeed.
Let's go. Yes?
Hey,
Laying low. Right.
Dead on!
Let's go. Has been poisoned.
My mind.
Has been poisoned.
I'll take a look.
That's a different exit from the cave. I'll have to remember to leave that way when I'm done here. Okay. Let's go back this way.
Hello? Hello?
Dead on!
Ooh, Spider Queen. Cypher's pretty, the Cypher class is pretty robust.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Let's go ahead and save.
Human? Oh, and some Hamawa bones.
There's the ogre. As you advance into the darkness, the ground begins to tremble. You hear plodding footfalls, growling breaths, and bone-snapping crunches. An ogre steps out of the shadows, 10 feet tall and bulging with muscle. He tears a mouthful from a hoofed pink-fleshed limb and tosses it aside. He watches you from under the thick ridges of his brows. Too well equipped to be a villager, a bandit from the road then, must be. The ogre snorts and tightens his grip around a club. I've kept to myself, killed no one but the fools reckless enough to chase me down here. Why have you come looking for me? Looking for a young elven noble, and she's gone missing. Cogrek's snarl reveals a row of large stained teeth. I've done my best to avoid Kith, especially the kind that might give rise to search parties. He scratches his knuckles and eyes you. She never came here, of that I'm sure. Then I'll look elsewhere. First, I want to ask you something more. He glares at a spot over your shoulder as if he expects to see someone lurking behind you. Speak, fast. A farmer from Deerford claims you ate his pigs. He rams a fist into the wall and roars. Then I should have eaten the blazing farmer. I underestimated the love these villagers have for their swine. Calm down, perhaps you could tell me something else. What? What are you doing in this cave? Hiding from your kind, he scratches a tusk, glaring at you. Kith driven from their homes by strange storms. Bandits out for blood in the coin. My kind is unsafe around Kith at the best of times. But now, tempers run hot, and ogre blood is value among your alchemists. The Deerwood is huge. Surely there's a better place for you to hide out. He smashes his club into the ground. You think I haven't looked? I've wandered the wood from the Iskaen to here. A spider-filled cave is the best hiding spot I've found yet. Rational one. He clutches the club with both hands and draws it closer. And you seem sensible enough to understand that now that you found me here, I can't let you leave. This place isn't safe. Even if you kill me, it's only a matter of time before someone else finds you. My character is stoic and rational, so we'll go with rational. He grits his teeth and glares at you, his eyes hard and narrow with rage. Cogrek takes several heaving breaths, seemingly ready to charge at any second. Finally, he drops his club. That's what I was afraid of, he sighs, blasting with his fetid breath. Time to move on, then. I have a stronghold in Caed Nua. Help me defend it, and you can stay as long as you'd like. Sell my service for the shelter of a fortress? Sounds like another kind of trouble, but perhaps one I can handle. He begins shuffling back to the shadows. If you need me, you know where to find me. I'll leave Deerfoot alone for now. Skulls and bones from an assortment of kith and beasts litter the caverns. They've been crushed, scored, gnawed, and punctured by something with fangs as thick as Namao's finger.
If secrets whisper here, I shall listen for them.
We may have an understand, but I promise nothing for anyone else who wanders in here. Alright, let's head to this exit. Ooh, hidden object. Okay.
I think I see something.
That's weird. Why did I miss it before? Bracers of spiritual power. Hands. Let's take a look. Bracer, huh? What slot? That's the hand slot. Plus 10% spell damage would be handy for her. So I got a couple quests to turn in. I think that's it for this place. Oh no, I have that dungeon in the center to go down and check out.
Nice and slow.
Scan cultist robes. Scan initiate hood. The note is bloodstained and torn, and the edges are smudged with some kind of pigment. From the scraps that are legible, you can make out a hastily written instructions. To avoid the entrance in the tower, traffic through my shop would attract the attention. Deerford may be sympathetic to our goals, but they won't approve of a temple yet. Key to the entrance by the river, east of town. But be careful on the road. Reports of these days. T. Ah, interesting. Let's see. This is Skane Cultist Robe, light armor. She's wearing light armor. Yeah, I like that better on her. Interesting. Yeah, let's wear that. That's kind of cool looking. Intellect 2. Well, what's a Cypher's major stat? Dex and Intellect. So... of Intellect 2. And shock-proofed. Slash-proofed, I mean. Okay, so there's no way down from here. Go ahead and camp up above, and then we will go in there. head inside.
Laying low.
The effigy is made of several crooked sticks tied together with rough twine. It casts an ominous flickering shadow on the wall. Kickstarter backers, let's go through them real quick. Let's take a look at what got added to Blood Legacy. So the Tear Girl's definitely up to something. I think they kidnapped her. Kickstarter backers. Go in here first because looks like there's also a side path there. I may not be able to pick this lock. Let's check though.
I'll give it a try, at least.
Yes.
As requested.
Huh?
Slow and silent.
Blood congeals around this corpse's slashed throat. That's not a good sign for Lady Alis. A crude symbol's been painted on this canvas in streaks of something that looks like blood. The man's arms are cut open from elbow to wrist. As you approach the blood pool, the viscous liquid churns and bubbles. You feel essence rising to the surface, reaching out to you, whispering. Someone should clean that up. Grotesque masks and pools of blood. They aren't half-hearted in their madness, are they? Kana wrinkles his nose. A place of death. We should not linger here. A bubbling cauldron of Skane's hateful seed. He may be sniveling and cowardly in his ways, but he's never lacked for focus. Skani peers at the bubbling pool. This is the work of something foul. We should keep moving. I don't want to leave it for others to deal with. I had to do that because Windows updates will not go away for whatever reason. It'll just stay there in the lower right corner. Extend your soul to the blood pool. The faint whispers resolve into a cacophony of voices. You imagine yourself surrounded by 100 men and women. Their naked flesh is scourged and bloody, or skinned and covered with flies. Their eyes are missing, replaced by glittering black stones. The voices cry out in unison. What's this? Another soul come to rage and burn? Or merely to watch? You may be a long time in waiting. Our work today is already finished. You were all sacrificed to Skane, weren't you? A woman's voice replies. We were sacrificed to the whims and hungers of the rich and powerful, but what we gave here, that was our decision. They hover at your soul's edge, feeling you out. Our fury burned within us, unquenched and unfed, but hate can be fashioned into a weapon by those willing to pay the price. Another voice speaks. In life we are weak, but in death we made a choice. Choice carries power. What kind of power? A voice cackles. If you must ask, then you have never had need of revenge. They probe at the boundaries of your soul, exploring your essence. It is a shame there's nothing in you we could use. The souls sink back into the pool. Hold. I would know what you have done here. The pool itself begins to ripple with the sound of dissonant chorus of perverse laughter that rakes at your ears. The lapping blood stirs a large metal cage, half submerged in the center of the pool, and it creaks loudly as it rocks back and forth on a rustled pulley, as if in answer to your question. Wait, let me ask you more about this place. The time for questions is over, Watcher. The blood pool is still.
Keeping an eye out.
The corpses bent forward as if watching her lifeblood trickle away. Let me save my game and reload. Sometimes when I have to alt-tab out, thanks to Windows Update, my game gets real framey. Usually loading will fix it. There we are. It looks better.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
Okay, so I can go this way, or this way, but I could also go this way. Let's go this way. We already saw one enemy. Killed her rather easily.
Love be up. Let's go.
Sure.
And what does the flame reveal?
Looks like these may just be quarters, possibly.
See something.
Okay, failed to disarm the trap. Let's send somebody through. That somebody can't be it.
Yes? As you say.
Laying low.
What's this?
And what does the flame reveal?
What's this?
I'll take a look.
I think I see something.
Ready, Watcher.
Let's lure him back.
Steady does it.
Following your lead.
Skulls have been lashed to this wooden effigy.
Hello? Hello?
Dead on!
Margren's fire casts light in dark places.
Actually, there's a place over here I did not explore.
Laying low. Move. Exit. Honor. Blast! Laying low.
I can do that. As requested.
Sure. Huh?
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need to save my game and pause just for a minute. I need to go take a leak. I will be right back. Alright, let us continue forward. Probably going to go through this door. Looks like it leads down here, which combines into the section I've already looked at.
I can do that. As requested. Mow it. Mow it. Off there. Lavarur, you seek.
Yeah.
I'll take a look.
Oh wait, what kind of gun was that? I missed it. Oh, just a fine level weapon. Nothing exceptional.
Looks like blood, and lots of it.
Two posts stand firmly in the stonework with broken ropes fallen into the dark chasm of a large cavern. On the other side, there's a slight opening of where a bridge may have led. Inspect the area. Darkness below continues as far as you can see. Broken stone pillars, remnants of the missing bridge, rise from the abyss. Across the gap, you see a mouth of a tunnel. Wooden beams protrude from the stones on either side of the chasm. Despite their age, they look sturdy enough to hold a grappling hook and rope. Two posts stand firmly. Already talked about that. Let's leave for now. Finish exploring this area.
They shall see nothing while I see much.
Because we got all this to explore. Then probably whatever's up here.
I can do that. As requested.
Someone has skinned this Orlan and strung up its corpse. The dried flesh is tough and leathery.
I think I see something.
The torture rack is spattered in blood and gouged by fingernails. Nice people that the Tanner has a temple for.
I'll take a look.
I think I see something.
Right.
It was kind of BS because they just barely clipped it.
Will evade on Ansawu.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Final journal. Final Journal of Jonas. My son, tomorrow I become the effigy. Tomorrow I become Skane's embodiment of Yora. Tomorrow my master chokes on his own whip. For months we met by secret conclave to plot our landlord's demise, all the while work in the fields as if our hearts were content. Skane teaches us to plot with the mind while keeping one's face impassive, inscrutable. Fair fights are for those with armies. The quiet slave is our whetstone, our focus. In his worship, our cause finds focus, clarity, and possibility. Tomorrow, my master chokes on his own whip. By the time you read this, I will be dead. I pray Skane does not abandon me for speaking of my plotting, but his son deserves to know how his father died, for I volunteered to be the effigy. Skane will inhabit my body, using this old farmer's simple flesh as a puppet of godly rage. I have been shaved and anointed. Tomorrow morning I will be your father in name only, as my manhood will be removed, my nose and ears removed, and my useless mortal eyes will be replaced with flint stones through which Skane might see the world. My son, I am sorry for the lies I have told you these past few seasons, but Skane demands secrecy. Even your mother knows nothing of my furtive service to the quiet slave. Curse my name if you must, but never weep for me, for I die for the betterment of our community, to smite our Lord's corruption from the face of Eora. Tomorrow my master chokes on his own whip, for tomorrow I become the effigy. Interesting. List of names. Why am I not able to right click on the... Oh, you have to have it on stash. This creased sheet of paper contains a list of names. Some have been crossed off. Yudit leaves window open at night. Small house on the edge of Kindle Vale. Higgerto, visiting from Old Valley, doesn't speak Adrian, keeps it himself, won't be missed. Tirfis lives in a small encampment on road to Logholm, takes solitary walks each morning at sunrise, should be most vulnerable then. Belmus, his parents leave him alone after temple services, each gone to Dag. Senless visits a mistress in Balreach every third false Dag, get him on the road. Check Gilded Vale and Nandra's Gift, may find more interested parties there. An old dungeon key. Interesting. So, we still have up here to explore, but let's finish exploring this area, I guess. Craft hall construction complete. Let's purchase the curio shop. Let's go down here first.
Let's go! Let's go! Hello? Hello?
A man in bloody robes lies dead upon the table. A heavy crust of blood surrounds his mouth and eyes. Okay, so that looks like the last there. Let's head over here and go in this room now. We should be fine health-wise. He's got half health left. When it get maybe the next couple fights, I'll use a campfire.
What's this?
Bracers of deflection. A lot of people don't even have gloves, so that works out. A crude symbol has been painted on this canvas in streaks of something that looks like blood. Scanite scripture. Burn. Feel that. Alright. Is this a dead end? If this is a dead end, I should go up there first. Yes, it is.
What's this?
Fine stiletto.
And what does the flame reveal? Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Alright. Make sure there's no traps, no hidden items. Quite a few ropes and climbing tools available. Okay, so we're gonna go around here and explore this area, then we'll go up here and explore this area. And there's a door over there, and there's a door over there we still have yet to explore, and then across the bridge. Across the bridge is last. Skulls have been lashed to this wooden effigy.
Yeah.
I have them! Let's...
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
Find dagger, find sword. Nothing overly great.
I'll give it a try, at least. As requested.
A crude symbol's been painted on this canvas in streaks of sun that looks like blood. Oh, so this is the tunnel where it leads. Well, He snags on one of the beams, digging into the wood as you pull. With a couple firm tugs, you determine that the connection is secure. You tie the free end of the rope to one of the beams next to you. Shimmy across the chasm. The rope remains taut under your weight, but you feel the tension and vibration of every movement as you shimmy across. The groans and creaks of the wooden beams echo in the abyss. You keep your progress slow and steady. The sound of labored breathing echoes across the chasm. Grieving Mother and Sagni are tiring. Sagani. You reach the other side, safe but exhausted. So, basically back to where I was. So we got a door up here, we got a path up here, and we got a door over there. Let's check out over here before we get too far ahead of ourselves. And let's camp. Save our game. We're making good progress here. I knew there was something fishy about that tower and the tannery. Oops.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Small wicker statues of black stone eyes are placed between the flickering candles. So there's multiple rooms.
Dead on!
Let's go!
Right.
I'm on the trail.
Potion of major endurance. Who's getting overburdened here with items? Oh, no. Okay, that's a little more even. It doesn't look like anything there. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap.
What's this?
Yeah. Nice and slow.
What's this?
Yeah.
I'll take a look.
What's this?
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
What's this?
Let's go. Nice and slow.
Hello? Hello?
Alright, let's see what's in here. Potion of deleterious alacrity of motion. This elegant vase is cracked and chipped. It looks like an antique from Aedir.
I can do that.
Yeah, let's lockpick it.
As requested.
Wermund, a large bull-necked man in a hood, helps a young elven woman down from a glass chamber connected to a dizzying array of cables and machinery. Her skin and clothing glisten with fresh blood.
You may feel a little lightheaded for the next hour or two, but that will pass. Have a meal and get some sleep when you return to town. The transfusion. The transfusion will be smoothest if you relax and rest. The implanted essence already has a hold on your mind, so fighting it will be useless. And I hope our new visitor does not complicate matters overly.
What's going on here?
Subversion. The black sheep cousin of justice. Or haven't you heard Lord Heron's tale of woe about a missing daughter and an impending marriage? He's sent his soldiers to scour the village while he bides his time at the Dracogen Inn. I don't expect you to understand what I'm doing. Neither the rituals of Scan nor the labors of Animancy meet with much approval in polite society. But unsightliness reminds polite society that there are limits. When no one pays attention to the excesses and debaucheries of a lord, you give them something they can't look away from.
Heron said he was taking her to Aena's Rest to find a suitor, but a few pieces of his story didn't add up.
Did a bit of digging, did you? That's more than can be said for most. Lord Heron's been telling everyone she's his daughter. He brought her all the way out here just to avoid anyone who might know differently. She's his niece, and she's carrying his child.
I knew it. Such evil this crisis has wrought. To force a child on the daughter of one's own blood. Unthinkable. Why would he do that?
Heron's own wife's delivered nothing but Hollowborn. Now he's got no heir, and his sister's child, Elise, is reaching the age to marry. Without progeny of his own, Heron's legacy would pass to her issue. So, he found a way to continue his own noble line. By putting his child in this girl, his own niece.
And Animancy is part of your plan to destroy him? Couldn't he have gotten a child by some other means?
Not a highborn heir. Even if he disposed of his own wife by some means, what family would marry their fertile daughter off to him? You can see the problem with this foolishness about blood and birth, I hope.
And Animancy is part of your plan to destroy him?
This isn't just about Heron or the girl. It's about the corrupting influences of power and wealth. How people of privilege, people like Heron, are so often insulated from the consequences of their actions. The charged essence of dozens of maltreated slaves and underlings is already taking root in her mind. Once it's established, it'll drive her to murder her uncle, her aunt, and anyone foolish enough to get in her way. People won't be able to.
So you've turned her into a murderer.
Then.
Seems like a lot of trouble to go to when a simple lynch mob will do. They don't get a lot of things right, but this kind of thing they know what to do with.
I do not wish to destroy Nestor Herond. I wish to end his entire rotten line. His name will become a curse among strangers. The deeds of his house will be eclipsed by his ruin. Foes will hear his name and shudder with pity. And any relatives who should survive him will abandon their fortunes just to rid themselves of the association.
Watcher, do not let this girl and her child become fodder for revenge. Let me touch her mind. I can free her from this snare, as well as from the memories that hold her captive. Do it. The grieving mother bows her head. Thank you, Watcher. You feel her reach out, persistent yet gentle. Alis does not move, but the grieving mother trembles with exertion, and the air around her rings with the sound of chimes. At last she collapses, her energy spent. The strain throbs in her mind. For just a moment, Alis's eyes close. When they open again, her expression is blank. But as she takes in the scene before her, you, Wymond, and the machinery in this strange dark room, her confusion turns to fear. She lets out a choked cry.
Kill them. All of them. If she can't destroy Heron, then we can destroy his legacy with her.
Okay, so melee attack him. Okay. You attack them. You attack them. You attack them.
Moeth Ixi up.
Yes?
The young woman blinks at you and takes a few steps back. Stay away, I don't know. She shakes her head and rubs her temples. What happened here? Skaanite cultist kidnapped you. She looks around at the dead cultist and pools of blood, her eyes widening in fear and confusion. But what? She winches and pitches forward, holding her head. Hylia's wings. I can hardly remember a thing. She pauses, her brow furrowing. She mutters something in a dialect of Rotai, then Valian. Benamen. No, my name is Aelis. Her fingers dance at her side, plucking at the air in 3 repeated motions. A leer, the opening notes of the false night. Her twitching fingers brush her swollen abdomen. She looks back at you, a question in her eyes. There's a reason you forgot, Aelis. It's best not to remember some things. She nods absently. I also know I can't go back to the village, though I don't remember why. She looks around at the strange machinery, and I certainly can't stay here. You're free to go wherever you want, Aelis. Find the road and keep going. The suggestion sinks in slowly, but seems to take root in the newly barren places of her mind. It's good advice. She takes a final glance at the blood-splattered chamber. I won't look back. She hurries away. Taxes collected. Alright.
Huh?
Hello? Hello?
An exceptional morning star. Wormland's Key. Okay, let's take a look now.
Yeah.
Cables snaking along the floor and across the ceiling connect to a glowing glass chamber. Thick liquid bubbles inside the tank, releasing a pungent scent. Motes of essence swirl in the mixture. A unique one-handed dagger. Wormland's Notebook. The looping scribbles are difficult to read, but as you flip through the pages, you can make out several passages. Near the beginning, you read, "With a suitable place for my experiments, there's an abundance of space, and more importantly, the locals are content to ignore it. I could probably construct..." You skip ahead several pages. Willing volunteers. The legacy has brought many grievances to the surface, and capturing the essence is primarily a matter of timing. The ritual of the effigy serves as a good template for... You scan the middle of the book. Died and their essence evaporated. Next time I'll have to try a smaller concentration of the reagent too. You turn to the last page. Noble from Defiance Bay. Results were mostly consistent across the other subjects. The challenge is always applying the method to an unwilling participant, but her situation may prove an advantage. If I could bring those memories of her uncle to the forefront, it might render her essence more susceptible to the process. Does anybody use a dagger? I don't think so, so let's just take it. An ornate crest decorates this sarcophagus. The name of the lid has been scratched out. We still have some other places to explore, so I would imagine there's going to be a transition area.
Can't get a good shot with this.
Will they make...
Can't...
Margren's fire casts light in dark places.
Let's see what lies this way.
Okay, so let me see. Where else do I have to go? I have a path up here and a door right there. Looks like that door right there may lead to the same area.
I have...
Get on!
Off that worth it.
Keeping quiet.
I'm on the trail.
Skin cultist robe.
I think I see something.
No. Not yet, anyways. Go ahead, do it now. A lot of traps in here I can't quite get.
Yeah.
Let's see what lies this way.
Topaz and lockpicks. Let's open these doors. We've already been on this side. I think that's the entire place, except for obviously the way up here. Alright, so let's head to these stairs. Done good work here.
Hello? Hello? I'll give it a try, at least. As requested.
Can't get a good shot at this.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
A crude symbol's been painted on this canvas. Okay, same as the others. The stained and rumpled bedroll appears to have been used recently. Been a while. Let's save our game. Alright. Head up to the tower because I know it's the tower behind the tanner shop. This thick hide stretched thin upon the rack looks like it came from a stale guard. The Kieran waterproofing agents slathered over, give it a heavy odor. What are you? Effigy's eyes. 7, stop him. He raises his axe, rage in his eyes.
Let's go. Let's go.
Fine dagger, fine saber, some other miscellaneous crap. Okay, so we should have a couple quests to turn in. We dealt with the farmer. We got the we got the eggs for this lady right here.
Good day to you.
I found the dragon egg. Hylia's feathered tits. She claps her hands together, wincing at the pain. How do you manage that? I'm not much of a storyteller, stoic. My character is rational and stoic, have to go that way. I'm a man of action then, fair enough. Amazing, not a single crack. She runs her bandaged hand across the shell. She hefts the egg into the back of her wagon and rummages among her shelves. Here, take this. She drops a stack of coins and a parcel of ingredients into your hands. Everything you need to brew a good, strong pick-me-up. Should come in handy with the kind of scraps you seem to get into. She leans closer. And come see me anytime you need potions or ingredients, alright? I got a special price for friends. Deerford Village, moderate positive. Show me your wares. These prices are just for you. Alright. Let's go talk to the farmer's pigs. Well, not talk to his pigs, but talk to the farmer.
Gods keep you.
I convinced the monster to leave. You won't be seeing him again. He balls his hands into 2 shaking fists. His face starts to redden. But that's son of an Orlan whore. That thing devoured my entire herd. I wanted it dead. I wanted to mount its head on a pike. The ogre is no longer your problem, and that's what matters. He takes another long, deep breath. You're right. Here, take this for your troubles. I should look on the bright side. The ogre's gone, and I could start rebuilding my herd. He crosses his arms and looks at his piglets. In another 6 months, these will be grown and ready to breed. Although... He takes one of the pigs and gives it a quick examination. This runt's still looking too small. I don't expect to get any good litters out of it, and I'd just as soon not have it weaken the rest of my stock. Why don't you take it? Gives me one less mouth to feed anyways. Hey, I got a new pet, I think. Hey. Piggly Wiggly. Let's equip him. Give the doggy a break.
Huh?
Okay, let's look at what other quests I have to complete. Okay, so it looks like just Blood Legacy.
Gods keep you.
Hello!
Tell me about Lord Heron's daughter. He frowns and shrugs. His lordship says she went up and missing the other day. He wipes a tankard with his ragged towel, twisting it with swift jerking motions. I don't know any more than that. However, these lordling bastards will handle their affairs. Ain't no business of mine. Lord Heron is resting upstairs. I get the feeling he's not going to take this lying down, even though he's resting. An elven man paced in the corner of the room, gnawed the thumb of his fine silk glove. What are you doing up here? Have you news of my daughter? I've got to get her out of this wretched village, he resumes his pacing. I found Aeolus.
My daughter? Is she safe?
He blinks and licks his dry lips. I let her go.
It can't be. What happened?
Let's see, I'm stoic and rational, so let's see what my options. You know exactly what I discovered.
I don't know what you're referring to, but I've heard enough already. Take this, and let's put this unpleasantness behind us.
Let's do the Resolve 14 one.
Very well. Now, I really must get back on the road.
Oh, it said extraordinary positive. I thought... Damn it. I'm gonna load my game. I don't want that option. I want to kill this son of a bitch. Impregnating his sister's daughter? Oh, I think I loaded the wrong save, though. Maybe. Maybe not. Let's see. No, I'm good.
Sure.
What are you doing up here? My daughter?
I let her go.
Can't be. She's...
See,
What happened?
I did stoic before. Let's do rational.
I don't know what you're referring to, but I've heard enough. Take this, and let's put this unpleasantness behind us.
Let's do a kill Herond. Your blow dispatches the old man more quickly than you'd like, but you're confident no one has heard you. Major negative. But the guy was a creep. There's got to be a better alternative ending here. Let me just look at the options. Maybe I just need to not go with stoic or rational, possibly, in this case.
What are you doing up here?
I let her go. I'll tell everyone what a monster you are. Let's do that one. For an instant, his face ripples with rage and fear, but his features quickly settle into a mask of haughty complacency.
Even if it were true, who would believe you? Take this, and let's put this unpleasantness behind us.
Let's see what that gets me, reputation-wise. So really, this is my only option to not lose reputation with Defiance Bay. Okay. We'll go with that one. Alright, let's see where we're going to next. I guess let's do Cleoban Relag. We've been all over everywhere else. Except for Craighold Bluffs. We have a quest or two there. We have a bunch of quests there, and we have a bunch of quests here, but we don't know how to unlock the path. Might not be able to yet. So let's do Cleoban Relag.
This is the place. I'm
Big Brother's last battle. I wish I could tell you what we're looking for. Anything from that battle, I guess. Whatever 15 years of rain hasn't buried. You see my brother's ghost, you give me a holler, all right?
Nice and slow.
Let's just kind of cut a diagonal swath through the place. The man stands before you, his face smeared with green and ochre dyes. Hides and furs cover his body, and he holds a spear in one hand.
Hail, Estremor.
He bears teeth that have been filed to fine points. Back to your village, Estremor. You are lucky to three-tusked Stelgar hunt other quarry today. I'm looking for a group of people who may have already entered the run. So are we. He runs his thumbs along the smooth wood of the spear. That is why we wait here, Estremor, and that is why I've decided to let you leave in peace. These individuals are my enemies too. If you let me in, I could bring them out for you. And allow even more Estremor to trample sacred ground? Certainly not. Well, you already messed up once. What's the harm of doing it again on our account, seeing as how we're probably much nicer people? What will you do? We will wait. If they are inside, they must come out. And when they do, he slides a fingertip along the point of his spear and shows you the drop of blood. What do you know about Cleoban Relag? It is a sacred place of the builders, and neither your feet nor ours shall sully its stones. The grasses, however, he grins and hefts a spear, I will gladly water with your blood. Three-tusked Stelgar? His snarling grin widens. Have the farmers grown too fearful to even mention our name? We are the fiercest of the 6 tribes of Erglanfath, and we are the guardian of the monument here. I've never heard of the builders. He makes an exasperated clicking noise with his tongue. They are known by other names in the heathen tongues of farm folk. They are the ancient who built this place, and many more like it. And we of the 6 tribes guard their legacy. I'll be going. Do not come this way again. Interesting. May have to fight them eventually.
Not much here.
I'm on the trail.
Too recent.
Freedom pierce-proofed.
Nothing over here. I guess they cleaned up real good after the battle. This is embarrassing. I think I see... No. Never mind.
Those face painters can't guard that place forever.
Hey, something metal in the ground. Over by that boat. Keeping an eye out.
What boat? I don't see a boat. Maybe it's over there. It must be over here somewhere. I think I'm gonna save my game and go get some food. I'll be back later for more Pillars of Eternity. I appreciate everybody who stopped by and watched a little bit. And y'all have a good day, and I'll be back later. Alright, take it easy. Bye.